No sugarcoating or pulling punches, just real talk. You're watching Talking Real with Feel. Episode 5. Does change have an expiration date?
You think life owes you something? A handout, a pat on the back for all the pain you've endured. Let me tell you something. The world don't care about your tears. No one's coming to save you. You either stand on your own 2 feet, or you get buried by the weight of your own sorrow. I've seen men break. Hell, I've been one of them. But here I am, still breathing, still fighting. Because I learned the one truth no one tells you. Emotions are chains. They hold you down, keep you weak.
You ever just sit in a dark room and feel like the darkness is the only thing that truly understands you? No fake smiles, no false hope, just raw, bitter silence. Silence is dangerous. It's where monsters are born, forged and sharpened. That's where you live now, that quiet corner of the world where no one sees what you're holding inside. I call it survival. No one comes back to clean the mess they made in someone else's soul. They move on. You ever tried to sleep with a memory screaming in your head like a siren? It's a nightmare, but here's the twist. You survive.
Well, okay people, welcome back, or if it's your first time to the channel, welcome. So in past videos of my Talking Real, I discussed a man's value in the relationship and how I believe that once that value is gone, then I would argue the fact that it's very, very difficult to get back. Not impossible, because every situation has its exceptions, I'm sure, but very difficult at the very least. I also talked about the lies that we tell ourselves when we're going through that situation, or at least I'll say the lies that I told myself, okay, in my situation. If I would do set thing, then that would change her mind and she would come back. And if I could curve and change my addiction problem, she would see me as a man that she fell in love with, as a person that we were when we first got together, and everything would be fine. Blind to everything else I was doing wrong. Now why? Why would I then tell myself those lies? Very simple answer. I'd rather believe the lie than to face the truth. I mean, truth is just something hard to face. To face the fact that in your significant other's eyes, you are no longer valuable. You've lost that value that you held at one time. And you know that. You know that by the tone of her voice, by her eyes. That's something you can't hide. That's something that's out there in front of you. So when that set of eyes goes from admiring you, looking up to you, listening to what you have to say, into just complete hate, just despair, her eyes will tell you all of that. It's not a very hard thing to recognize when it's actually taking place. So I would tell myself lies instead of dealing with what was actually reality. But that's the way life is. Even when I had reached the point to where my wife was devaluing me in the open, in front of family, friends, in front of our children. Even then, I didn't walk away. I let it happen. Because I just told myself, well, she's right. I mean, she's right about everything I've done, therefore this has to be right. She thinks this of me. It must be this way. I have to see myself exactly how she sees me. And that was wrong. I didn't know that was wrong, again, until I had these last 3 years of separation. But that was wrong. I didn't go around correcting her when I would hear this, because if a person has to go around saying, I demand your respect, you're not getting respect, period. Kind of like the LeBron James scenario, right? That made me the greatest of all time, that made me the GOAT. If you have to tell people that, you're not the GOAT. If you do have to go around doing that, chances are it's not correct. You're not truthful. You're not being truthful with yourself, for one, but it's definitely not the truth you're putting out there. My mind will try to lie to itself, like I said before. She'll look at me the way she looked at me when we first started dating. And I will remember how she used to look at me. And I'll have that back. And I can get that back. I can do that. Or, out of nowhere, I'll have a random memory pop up. A place that we've been, a food that we've eaten. It can be a certain smell that takes me back there. Whatever the case may be, it will be unexpected and will take me right back to that time that me and my wife, we were great together. And I would try to hold on to that. That's the lies I told myself. You may be different. In me telling myself those lies at the time, I was describing a situation, a person that she used to be, not the reality of it, not who she is right now. Would I want to go back to that? No. I was the husband that lost value. I was the man in her life, her husband, that she tolerated. I don't want to be tolerated by anyone. Period. The respect never comes back if you're just being tolerated. Going back to a relationship that I'm seeing as not bringing any value to that relationship. No, I don't. I'm good right where I'm at. I had also said on my previous videos that I wish I'd had a little more of a mentorship. Now, I wish my father had been involved in my life at an earlier age. Would that have made a difference? I don't know. Maybe according to some, it would not have. And that may very well be the case. It sounds weird to say, but even after the respect was gone, and I'll still say it, that just showed me, or at least it shows me now, that I didn't have self-respect for myself. I think there's too much greediness in this world today. I just seen a video the other day on one saying that she'd given her kids to her baby's daddy because she just didn't want to raise them anymore. She'd focused all her life on her kids and none of it on her. And I had to turn that video off. I was like, I can't believe these people. I can't believe I just heard what I just heard. It was all about her. So for me to say this, that I didn't have the self-respect for myself, enough respect for myself to leave that situation and not take that day after day, and to believe that I could fix that, wow, I was just really off. But I think that's the case. I know for a fact that I didn't have self-respect, because I wouldn't have stayed there. I wouldn't have stayed and let her openly mock me. And the reasons why I did is because I thought she was right. I thought if she looked at me that way, then that had to be the truth about me, and it wasn't. So yeah, there's that. Because I wasn't physically with my wife or my two children. You missed the laughter, you missed the fight, you missed just the whole package. Everything you've been used to in your life is gone like that. And it was so quiet, so quiet. I just felt like I was enveloped by this just silence, this dark silence. So physically I wasn't with them. I was with them mentally every day. It was weighing on me every day until I had to change. I had to change my mindset. I had to flip a switch. I don't know how anybody else deals with it. Never really dove into it with individual people. Never asked my father how he dealt with it. You place everything in a certain order, in a certain position. It's like throwing the shit back in a storage shed that's outside in your backyard that you have not cleaned out in 3 years. The shit you have back there on the back shelf in that storage building, you can't just get to readily. You can't walk out there and do it. That's why you put it back there in the first place. You had no use for what was there at the time, so you stuck it back there. That's kind of what I had to do. So being down here in that silence, I was trying to reorganize my mind and decide where to put these things mentally, in my capacity mentally, to where I could function as me. You do that so you can move forward. You do that to provide yourself with progress. And whatever day it happened, whatever day I flipped that switch and I was outside looking in instead of inside not figuring it out, that day, maybe through some people's eyes, I was this. But to myself, I was not that anymore. I rediscovered my self-worth was the day that I decided I wouldn't even want to go back to this marriage. I wouldn't go back to a place to where I was just tolerated. I didn't want that life anymore. I had decided that I'm worth more than that. When my self-worth finally hit me, that was the day I said, this isn't something I would go back to. I'm not happy doing that, and I won't do it. It is what it is, guys. Even though I was trying to get my bearings, I'd found my self-respect. That wasn't easy, and it didn't happen overnight. I got tired of laying here. I got tired of thinking, well, I wonder if she misses me. I wonder if she's happy where she's at without me. she looked at anybody else the way she used to look at me. Even though physically wasn't with her, she still had that control over me. She just did, because that's where my mind was. Until I discovered that I don't care. That was me discovering my self-worth. Was the day that I said, I don't care. But at that point, I no longer wondered, does she think of me? Or what she thought of the text I sent her. I wonder what she thought of that letter that I wrote her 3 months ago. A lot of people say you have to find somebody else to move on. What horse shit? I have to find a person to move on. You gotta, maybe there's, okay, let me rewind. Maybe there's some truth in that. Because in order for me to move on, you're right, I had to find somebody else. And I found myself. I found the self-respect for myself to do so. Not in another woman, in another relationship, not any of that shit. In myself. It's not an easy thing to do. It's a very hard thing to do. I had to find a way to separate that. And when I did, it hurt. It's gonna fucking hurt. I recognize that, and then I move on. But the alternative is to go back into a situation, in a relationship that neither one of us were happy. I knew something had to change. I knew that I couldn't lay here 20 plus hours a day and just torture myself. That's the change I had to make in order to put me where I'm at right now. I had to make that change. And when I made that change, yeah, it got easier. It does. It gets easier.
The moment you bare that heart, you might as well paint a bullseye on your back. Emotions, they'll eat you alive. Make no mistake. It's for the weak, for the ones who never learn. Strength doesn't come from words. Strength comes from pain. Real pain. The kind that rips you apart. Leaves you clawing at the walls, begging for it to stop. That's when you find out who you really are. Not when things are good. Not when life's easy. No, it's when you're on your knees that you decide whether you're a survivor or just another casualty.
Deep down, it burns. It eats at you, makes you question who you are, why you're never enough. And here's the kicker. You think it's your fault. You're done playing the victim. You see, pain, real pain, is a gift. It's not something to shy away from. No. Pain is clarity. Pain is a reminder of what you will never let them do again.
I thank y'all very much for coming and hanging out. I know there's other places you can be, watching other people do other things, yet you are here checking this out. And I thank you for it. I'll see you next time.
See? This is just what I've been talking about. I can't even relate to you guys anymore because you're too immature. What? I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here.
You don't know what you're talking about, fat ass.
No. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Abrams on the hill. Abrams on the hill. Tank command is ready to kill. Tank command is ready to kill. Hear the order fire. So early in the morning.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.